But like you said, you point out a very good point earlier, which is if people are buying money into cryptocurrencies or whatever, not in the bond market, and that's not funding mortgages, so to speak, or the reselling of the mortgages in that secondary market,
Right.
well, then banks are going to be less,
Well,
are
because the
hesitant to.
government can originate mortgages, right? And they do, but Fannie and Freddie,
Right,
but there's also the conventional market, which is, the stock market
right.
money, or money that people that are buying bonds from the bond market.
T bills and stuff, right?
Yeah, the treasury, right? So that's a thing that, I mean, it gets complicated and to the point where that's about as much as I understand it,
Right.
right?
I'm surprised you
Um,
understand as much as you
huh?
stated. I'm surprised you understand as much as you stated. You've come a
Well,
long. You've come a long way.
it's come a long way.
You
Well,
know.
you kind of get your ass handed to you in a lot of these ways. You have to
Right.
kind of pick up and see where things are, what's affecting what,
Well, you have to
right?
adjust, right? You have to
Yeah,
adjust, right? You know,
and you learn,
right.
right? So, and you have to make people's transactions work. When somebody says like, "Look, Ever, I just can't afford it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that $500 is going to kill me.
Yeah.
And they're willing to assume that in 2 years the rates are going to be down. Now we never guarantee that they are, right? We can't. I mean,
Right.
it's just you're just it's a crystal ball thing, and nobody has one. So what we're doing
I
is
actually bought
we're
one
going.
at an estate sale the other day.
Did you?
Crystal ball. Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind
nice.
of cool.
Okay.
So
Did it tell you to wear that sweater?
Now you yes. Now you know who has one. I have a crystal
All
ball.
right. Now, whenever I have a
So,
question, I'm gonna come see you
yeah,
about
I have a
that.
friend who has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So what was that? You threw me off with that one. With your crystal
Sorry.
ball.
No. But you bring up a good point, which is one thing that's you need to be cognizant of, especially in your industry, as well, mine as well, is a person's budget. As a person's budget, what can they afford and what can they afford month after month after month to be able to pay, as well as still maintain their savings, replenish their savings, that kind of stuff. And you want certainty. You want certainty on it, right? And so, buying down the rate is key. Of course, promises of of interest rates dropping is great, but then what's going to happen with those property values? Are they still going to grow? Are they going to still increase the level such where somebody could still refinance it out for, just
Well,
to.
look, if the stock market's going up, right? People should be able to pull money from the stock market to fund purchases. That's just more liquidity in the market. And
True.
that's what when we saw inflation go up, right? All of a sudden the cost of everything went straight through the roof. People started spending more money, started
Right.
tapping out their credit cards, started using their reserves, and now we're at a record high, like credit
Yeah.
card debt,
I'm
right?
not seeing a lot of bankruptcies though. I mean, as you
No,
know,
because people are kind of floating it.
yeah,
It's
they're
working.
adjusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, it doesn't create that environment where we had, $4+ trillion that were injected into the market, liquid, that just drove everything through the roof, which realistically caused the inflation and then caused the pricing of homes to just skyrocket. Right? We
Right.
were 200 grand over asking on a
200 grand over asking.
200 grand over
What year?
asking, and we didn't get it. 22 or 20. Actually, I don't remember.
Wasn't
anymore.
2020? Wow.
It was a property right there in Studio City. It was listed at $1 million. We went up to 1.2, and it sold for 1.3.
What did it appraise out at?
I never knew.
Oh, got it.
So we don't get that deep into it. Once you lose, you lose.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
right.
but I mean, you're coming up that much more, and you're still getting beat.
Yeah.
But that goes
Well,
to show you, right?
But
I mean, there's
before,
just a lot
people
of
also
money out there.
talked about that cash was king. Before, this is interesting. Before, when what I had heard, and again, I don't know if this could be, it could be verified. I'm sure, is that when other economies of scale, a larger scale, were unstable, people were pulling out monies. Foreign nationals were putting out monies out of those economies and putting them into the U.S. market. So what I had heard before was that when some of the Asian economies were in flux, people were they weren't trusting their banks, they weren't trusting those institutions at that time, so they pulled out some large amounts of money and come here and buy real estate in the U.S., which tends to hold its value to some
We
extent.
see a lot of that, and I've dealt with Chinese buyers, right? Buyers that are from China,